What's up, guys? Welcome back to House Flipper Remastered, and welcome back to Hacienda Day Toogii. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to leave a like on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. In the last episode, we purchased this property with the goal of turning it into a proper hacienda. Now that we've got it looking the part on the outside, today we need to do the same thing to the inside. Yesterday, I did decide to come through and get just a light coat of paint on most of the rooms. The only one that I didn't really touch was the pool room, because I don't think I want to do paint in here. I'd rather do like a stone or a tile maybe, but we'll get into that a little while later on. Now, the paint color isn't finalized. I don't plan on everything being all white everywhere. I think as far as like the bedrooms and the office and stuff go, we'll probably end up doing a color in there. But for this like main area, which is the reason I already did the lighting, I think it's probably just gonna be white with the nice contrast of the coarse dark oak wood trim. We've also got two big old beams up there on the ceiling of the same wood type and a pretty fancy looking golden chandelier. I'm just really trying to sell that hacienda illusion. You know what I mean? We've really been able to do that on the outside, and I'm hoping we're gonna be able to do that here on the inside as well. A lot of you guys left some really good feedback on the last episode, and I want to try to incorporate a few of those things. Unfortunately, some of your suggestions just can't be done, at least not in this game. If it were House Flipper 2, it'd be a heck of a lot easier. But one of those suggestions was to convert this room, instead of being the home office, this should probably be a guest bedroom, right? It's definitely a little bit larger than, say, this room. So instead of doing a additional sort of unnecessary bathroom, laundry room combo, this could then now be the home office area. Now back here is where I've decided to make some changes. I wasn't really happy about this window placement, so I think we're gonna alter that slightly. But I'm wondering, and this might be a build, check it out, and then if we don't like it, demolish it kind of situation and go back to what we had before. But I'm wondering if maybe we just had a hallway going this way, and then we get rid of this wall to expose what I hope is railing on the staircase. If there isn't any, we're gonna have to just add some. But this would essentially be a like extension of the upstairs hallway, and then that would in turn make the master bedroom a little bit smaller. So right in this area would be the master bath. Where the master bath is currently would just be like the larger area of the master bedroom, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But the way that it's set up right now, if we were to have the bed over in this area and then the master bathroom here, it's a little too spread out for my liking. So I'm gonna shut up and we're gonna go ahead and demolish this wall, and I think take out this door as well, because we're not gonna need that if this then becomes a hallway. Also, I said I'm gonna shut up in here. I am still yapping. I don't want to be this guy who like continues to complain about how hot his office is, but I feel like I need to explain this a little bit better. My office AC went out. Not that it really did very much to begin with, right? At a certain temperature, it would just sort of stop working. So I bought a replacement, and it showed up without a remote, not a huge deal, but also missing like the whole attachment point on the back to exhaust the hot air out of the office. So I had to return it. And now I'm back to using the one that's on the fritz, which isn't really working at all. So we might have to just make this episode like real quick, cause it's already a scorcher out here. Well, I had a feeling that this might happen. There wasn't any hidden staircase railing inside of the wall that we just took out. So like I said before, we're gonna have to add our own. And this is the only one that I could find that at least looks close. I don't know if we should do white wood though, or maybe just some coarse dark oak. Let's see how this one looks first. Why can I not bring it all the way over here exactly? That's as far as it goes. Maybe a different railing would go further. Probably not. Let's be honest, probably not. I would imagine they're all the same. What about coarse dark oak? Again, can only go this far. Ooh, hang on, hang on, hang on. What if we start another one here? No. Bummer. It's taller than what's here. It doesn't really look the same, but it's close enough, I think. It's just going to be a hallway, so we really don't have to get, you know, too crazy about it or anything. But let's get that door shut. And then let's see, how wide is this? Or let's match the width of this, probably. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on 7, including the railing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on 7. That should be the corner. And I put it out too far, but that's okay. We're gonna do this, that, and that. Now we can get our handy dandy sledgehammer out and just demolish that little portion. So as I was saying, it is going to take up a little bit of space for the master bedroom, but I think we almost need that at this point. And how do I want to do the door? Because we don't really need this extra landing bit here. Let's try this. We're just gonna bring this out a little ways. And then we'll have a wall here. And maybe we'll put the door here. Let's try that. Let's try that. We'll do like a little pocket here. Little corner pocket. And then fill all this in. And fill all of this in. So this spot here will be our master bathroom. So how would it look if we brought a wall out? I guess that far, really, because that's where the corner of this wall is. You like kind of walk right into a corner to get into the bedroom. I don't love that. But what's the alternative, really? You know what I mean? Let's get a door, I suppose. Oh, that's not that bad. We've got a little bit of a gap there. I think we can work with that. We do, however, still need some lintels up here at the top. And then as far as the master bathroom goes, I think I'm going to hold off on completing this wall and adding the door until after we get all the installation set up. But do we have enough space here for a big ol' heckin' bed? Or maybe we put the bed on that wall. I don't really know that it matters, to tell you the truth. I think I want to try to make my own custom shower for this bathroom. I mean, we've got a lot of space to work with in here, so it shouldn't be too terribly difficult to pull off. But I also want like one of those freestanding bathtubs as well. And I think I want to do that right here, which kind of makes me want to put a window back on that wall. I know it's a little weird, right? Because we have the spiral staircase here. But there was a window there before. Granted, it didn't look into a bathroom previously. Let's just try it. Let's just try it and see if we like it. Oh no. It can't be done. It cannot be done because it's an interior wall and not an exterior wall. Windows have to go on exterior walls like that. They have to be twice as thick, or thick with 2 C's, as they say. But what we could also try is a glass wall. I think we have some glass wall options in here as well. If I can find them. There's a lot of glass things. Here we go. So what if we did, say, one of these? That could work. I don't think we can change the height of it, though. It just has to be sort of mounted on the ground like that. Is there a slightly taller one? We got like a, yeah, here we go, 2.75. What do we think about that? Better. Definitely better. All right, so we need to demolish, I think it was from here to here. Looking at it now, that actually looks a little too large, but we're gonna try her out. So, back to the window. Ooh, perfect fit. That needs to go like so. It's odd. It is odd. But I mean, who's really gonna be looking up here? It just feels more strange to not have any windows at all in the bathroom. I guess that's not unheard of. Bathrooms don't necessarily need a window. Anyways, let's try to find a freestanding tub, and we'll just see if we like it, like I keep saying. I don't think that I dislike it. However, it does sort of take up a lot of space in here, which means that we're probably not going to be able to do my custom shower idea either. So we tried it. We realized that we didn't like it, and you know what? It be like that sometimes. That's okay. Easy thing to revert, you know? Okay, I had to just pick up the pace there for a little bit. I am both literally and figuratively cooking. Now, I had this, what I thought was a really good idea to make my own custom shower, and I don't think it looks terrible, but I was trying to pull in some of that gold from the chandelier out there into this room, and I just don't really love it. It's like none of the golds match exactly. So I think I'm gonna leave like the whole structure as it is, but I want to try just changing this stuff to black metal instead to see if maybe I'll like that more. Oh no. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. It's, you know what, that's actually kind of sick. And then what about these things? Can we change that? Black metal, and black metal. Okay. Oh, wait, one more thing. The sconce. What? Since when has that been a thing? Interesting. Very interesting. I do, oddly enough, I do like this. Whoa. That was strange. I do like this more than the all gold everywhere. And like most showers, you probably don't want to have the lintels up in here to like sort of let the steam out. We're gonna pretend that there's, again? We're gonna pretend that there's some sort of like exhaust vent up there as well. It's really a pretty solid master bathroom though. I mean, it's a good size. It's got everything you need in there. Anywho, and there's no window looking out into this area anymore, which is probably a good thing. I do want to get rid of these windows, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, but now we're gonna have to probably redo the outside. Oh no, we're good. Okay, we're chilling. I'm just gonna do one of those larger ones, like that one there in the center. Just one big one rather than two smaller ones, I think will look a little bit nicer. And it does, at least I think so, anyways. Of course, feel free to let me know what you guys think of it down in the comments. Let's head back upstairs. We've got a lot of work ahead of us yet. Speaking of which, we should figure out the flooring maybe. Because this is the only real big change that I wanted to make to the walls in here. So I think now's probably a good time. Oh, hang on. Let me get some white paint real quick. Gotta patch that new window up. But now that we have the walls more or less where they're going to remain, assuming I don't change my mind on anything else, I think now we should probably move into the flooring. So up here, truthfully, I don't hate this. In fact, I really kind of like it. But I'm wondering if that would look good down here. Since we already have stone on the walls, I'm thinking that's maybe a no-go. And we should probably opt for like just a nice darker hardwood floor all throughout there. But up here on this landing, I could see that looking good. I want to see if there are any other options for that though, or any other like similar tiles. This one's called cobblestone brick. Not really feeling that one. It needs to be slightly more decorative than that. What about this? I tried this once at a previous house and didn't end up committing to it. I mean, there's no denying that this is giving Spanish Revival architecture or a hacienda, right? But maybe there's something else. This one looks very, very decorative, but I just don't think it's the right color. I kind of like the orange more. This is really just a brown. I'm not really seeing any other decent options in here. Let's go back to the one that was in here from the get-go, just to see how the entire hallway would look if it was all tiled like that. I think that's my favorite. I really truly think this one's the favorite. So let's fill this in now as well, all the way over to here. I might even use this as the pool floor. Let's test her out. Get a little test hit going on here. Temporarily gonna just jump in the pool. Oh no, that got rid of the tile. Okay, this is a really difficult room to tile then. We're gonna have to start over here and do this. And then grab that. Come all the way to over here. We might be onto something. We might be onto something with this. A few of you had suggested maybe a smaller pool as well, and I'm not totally against that idea, but I kind of like having a large pool. It seems like an unnecessarily large room for a small pool. You know what I'm trying to say? But I dig this. I think we found our tile for the pool room. Back upstairs though. I really wish we could maybe put some tile on the staircases too. A lot of the time with the like Spanish Revival homes or a hacienda, if you want to call it that, they'll have like really decorative, colorful tile just on the back like tread of the staircase going all the way up, and I really, really like that look. Again, I wish we could do that here. We could probably figure out a way to make it work in House Flipper 2, but you know, yeah, we can't win them all. We can't win them all. As for the master bedroom, actually, what about the master bathroom tile? Nah, we already know what we're gonna do in there, don't we? Yeah, we already got that figured out. Hey, surprisingly, I didn't do white subway tile in the kitchen for a change. I think that stone that's down there right now is probably gonna stay. Let's go with the carpet. We really should be using carpet in bedrooms more. Usually I go for like a hardwood floor instead. I'm stuck between doing either this white carpet, which is really like a light gray, or this actual light gray carpet. I kind of feel like this will go with more colors. I don't know why I feel that way. Yeah, let's just roll with that for the time being. And now that we have that one figured out, since this is also going to be a bedroom, we're going to do the exact same thing. Wait a minute. If this is going to be a bedroom, oh no. I mean, we've got to have another bathroom. Right? Could we do a little bathroom right in here potentially? We might be able to make that work. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but it would need a shower and a toilet and a sink. Otherwise, this would then have to be the bathroom, and I kind of wanted to make this an office. I hope you guys are proud of me for this one, because I'm stepping way outside of my comfort zone. Really just because I'm trying to make sure that this looks the part. You know, it looks like a hacienda. It looks like a Spanish Revival styled home. So here is the attached guest bathroom. What do you think, right? I did use the same green color that I've been using like in all of the bathrooms as of late. But I still think it looks good with this floor and with herringbone subway tile. Not just the standard white subway tile. I don't even know, would you still call it subway tile at that point? If it's not like brick pattern? You know what I mean? And then, of course, since I liked it so much over there, I decided to do it here in the master as well. Why does that keep opening up the wrong direction? It's supposed to only open up that direction if you're... okay, if you're in here. But even now, it doesn't want to do it. Moving on down the hallway now to the office. In here, I want to see what this flooring would look like. I'm just trying to go for really high contrast in this space, because I do probably think I'll keep the walls white in here. So having sort of a darker floor, especially a texture that we don't often use, I think that'll look pretty dang good. Color-wise, it's decently close to coarse dark oak, so I'm happy with that. I'm feeling like, well, I'm feeling like I'm sweating bullets, but I'm feeling like we're probably gonna have to go through and just get like the rooms loosely set up, and then I'll just fly through the furnishings, because we're not really missing much there, to tell you the truth. This bathroom, I think I'm gonna set up the exact same as this one, minus the shower. Right down there, it's just gonna be a half bath. But the pool bathroom, I think I'm gonna use this tile in there. So give me just a few minutes and let me get these two bathrooms complete, and then we will probably continue on out here, actually, so we can determine what the heck we're gonna do for these walls. It's gotta be something other than this, though, for sure. All right, we're gonna go take a look at the main floor half bath first. Of course, we have that same tile that we used upstairs, the same paint color. I think this one's called Essential Sage, if I remember correctly. The classic fatty, aka the flatty toilet. And then we've got that same coarse dark oak sort of sink and mirror just above that. Pretty standard. But it's more, it's leaning more into the Hacienda Spanish Revival sort of aesthetic that we're going for. Now in here, I did decide to do the same floor as we have in the rest of the pool room. I actually did the other one to begin with, and I had completely forgotten that I already said that I was going to do the same pool room tile in this bathroom. This one, of course, has a shower. That way you can get cleaned up after you've swam in the chlorine or maybe saltwater pool. We have a similar... You guys heard that but didn't see it also, right? Okay, that was weird. Similar cabinet sink combo thing to what we have upstairs in the guest bathroom. And then the classic fatty, of course. Some more herringbone tile. Solid bathrooms, though. Solid bathrooms all around. They do still need some good old-fashioned Umeka, I don't know if I'm gonna do all white Yumika or if we should do like a light gray, maybe, just for a bit of contrast. We'll see. We'll figure that out. But moving on now into the pool room. The first thing I want to take a look at is I want to see what it would look like if we did this same stone here on the inside, just on the pillars though, like how it is here on the outside. And then up here, we might fill that in with stone, or maybe we'll just go with white. The thing about this floor too is it needs, I feel like it needs to have white walls around it just for that high contrast look. Otherwise, it might look a little strange. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. You know, I almost feel like there needs to be more stone, but I don't want to do stone throughout the middle like that. So I think what I'll do instead is maybe just use a little bit of that same stone as a sort of backsplash for our indoor, outdoor barbecue, like grill sort of area. Same backsplash, obviously, that we have here in the kitchen. I think it'll end up looking pretty nice. I did decide to change the pool, kind of had to get rid of it so I could put some scaffolding in here and finish up all the painting and tiling and whatnot. So I changed the tile to more of an orangey tone, and I think it looks better in here now. Before it almost sort of like stuck out a little bit too much. Now it sort of blends in. I obviously had to add in the epoxy garage floor that we've been using all over the place. Looks pretty darn good. And to tell you guys the truth, oh, also, yeah, I redid the flooring in here too. Got a nice dark hardwood flooring throughout this space. But to tell you guys the truth, I simply can't continue today. It is way too dang hot out here, so we're gonna pick things up tomorrow and get the rest of this place finished up. So I'll see you then.
The next day.
All right, let's finish strong. I really don't love not being able to take my time on this. This is one of those games where you really don't want to be rushed whatsoever. So I'm glad that we didn't do that yesterday. And I woke up at the butt crack of dawn this morning so I could come through and get each and every room all trimmed out in that good old-fashioned Yumika. Now, this room here, for example, we've got, you know, bright white walls. I tried the standard all-white Yumika that we usually run in all the other houses, and it just didn't really fit. You know, it didn't really fit the aesthetic that we're going for, that sort of Spanish revival Hacienda type look. So I opted for a darker gray color, and I like it quite a bit more. In the bathrooms, however, it simply didn't work at all. So in here, in all the bathrooms, actually, we've opted for the standard all-white Yumika that we all know and love. Some of the sinks in the bathrooms have been changed as well. I think this one had a nice little glow up. And again, I only did that so it would sort of match that aesthetic that we're going for. I think it looks quite a bit nicer. And I made sure to add some toilet paper holders in all the bathrooms. As you would have just seen in the main floor half bath, some of them, as long as they have a window, do have blinds now as well. It's the little things. It really is the little things. I don't think I changed anything else. Oh, wait. Yes, I did. I added some decoration. Excuse me. I don't even know where that came from. I didn't have any coffee or anything to eat or drink this morning, but minor decorations here in the garage just so we could sort of get that knocked out. We've got that same gray Yumika trim in there, and for once I didn't paint the walls jet black. It's a nice change. Definitely a nice change. Let's head up the spiral staircase and we'll smack our head on the bottom side of that landing. I don't even know if we should keep this door here anymore. I mean, this whole pool room's kind of just open and exposed to the elements. So maybe we will keep a door here, just for safety purposes. Again, we've got some of that dark gray Yumika throughout here. This is going to be the office. We've got some more dark gray trim in there. In the guest bedrooms, attached bath. Would it be a master bath then? Or would it be a guest bathroom? Let me know. Chime off on that down in the comments. But we've gone for white Yumika in here, another sink change, and didn't really have enough wall space for that other toilet paper holder, so we've opted in for a slightly different one here. Again, all trimmed out. I still don't know if I'm gonna end up painting any of these rooms a different color. I really, really think that the white walls and like the darker flooring and the darker floor trim or wall trim, I think that's kind of the look, you know? Like I think that's the way that it's supposed to be. So I'm hesitant to change that. Here in the master bedroom, same deal, same sort of setup. And then again, another bathroom, some more good old-fashioned white Yumika, some towel holders here in the master bath, and another toilet paper holder. I gotta get it together, man, or otherwise it's gonna be another really long and hot day. So we're gonna start down here on the main floor with the living room. Now we, again, don't have a ton of space to work with, but that's just it. We're gonna try to work with what we've got. I never know with this TV cabinet if the TV's supposed to go down here or up here. Part of me feels like the lower area would make more sense, because then your neck's not gonna be broken, you know, trying to look up at the TV. It probably doesn't really matter. Doesn't make much difference whatsoever. It is game. It is only game. Oh, and now this went from saying large kitchen to just kitchen. So we're gonna need some other stuff in here in order for it to be living room with kitchenette, I think. Maybe we can squeeze. Did you guys hear that, or was that just me? I'm tripping, man. If we put this thing in the corner, then we're probably gonna have to move our... What in the world is that sound? Don't we also, like, need a coffee table for it to qualify as a proper living room? There it is. Living room with kitchenette. Okay. So now that we have that figured out, I'm thinking we're probably gonna want like a lamp or something in here too. I'm really focused on trying to choose furniture that, again, matches that sort of look that we're going for. So a lot of this stuff is probably going to be things that normally I wouldn't choose, but maybe that'll be good. You know what I should have done is just waited for my wife to be home for this. That way she could help me furnish and decorate each and every room. Because honestly, she would know how to do this a lot better than I would. But I'm gonna give it my best shot. You know, I'm gonna shoot my shot on this thing. I don't know if this TV console is really fitting the vibe either, but I'm gonna leave it for now. We've already wasted too much time on this tiny little living room area. We don't have a normal coffee table like in the center of the room, but I don't think it looks bad having it off to the side like that. A rug would probably be good too. Let's try to find a decent looking rug before we move on. I don't hate this one. It's tough too trying to find something that matches as far as like the color scheme goes. I think that one could work though. We'll roll with it. We'll roll with it for now. We're gonna need another one here, I think, too. Coffee table in the center here for sure, but we're gonna do that dual couch thing, you know, that rich people thing that rich people do, where they just have two couches facing each other. That's the room where they sit in and look across at one another, but don't actually say anything to each other. You know what I mean? This is perfect. This is exactly what I was looking for in there. Okay, it's a little big, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little too in your face, maybe. I did want to do a sculpture, but I don't think we need something that large. Here we go. I think I'm gonna have to change that other rug that we just put in that living room. Maybe we'll do like a smaller version of this one, just so they match a little bit better. So we can sell that, and then pick this one up and slide it on in. Maybe like right there. No! I do that every time. The accidental right click. This top-down view thing is just killer, man. It really is. It makes it feel so much more like The Sims. It's honestly kind of crazy. I really only use it for placing rugs though, because you know it can sometimes be a little bit difficult to get it underneath of something else. Okay, this looks great. I'm remembering now that we're probably gonna want a dining room. So, right, about that. Whoops. We could do like an outdoor sort of dining room space here, right? I mean, we're gonna have to, really. We'll have this spot too, but that's really just a good spot to drink your coffee in the morning or eat breakfast, something like that. So let's get some stools, singular, for this little spot here. Hopefully only 1 or 2 people end up buying this house together, because that's really all that we have space for there. I think a lot of the other things in here are going to be done towards the end of the episode, you know, once we go through and just add a bunch of additional decor everywhere and accessories, you know. But I think in these corners, some of you had suggested like maybe a little reading nook, which I think is a good idea. But if we add some sort of a chair or couch back here, we're probably not going to be able to walk underneath of the stairs anymore. So I think this area is probably better suited for maybe 2 dog areas. You know, we can have their food and water bowls, their dog beds, all their toys over there too. What I want to work on next is the little outdoor bar slash barbecue area. I don't know if I'm going to use the novella cabinet set or not. I'm going to try it at first, and if I don't like it, then we can opt for something else. We are unfortunately going to have to sell off some of this Yumika. That way we can get our cabinets to work. There's usually a little sliver, little corner piece there on the corner. Go figure, huh? So give me a few minutes.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
This is exactly the look that I was going for out here. I was really worried that we weren't gonna have enough space for a like bar countertop. But in my mind, for whatever reason, I was thinking that we were gonna have to do this, right? And that would obviously be too wide. It would stick out way too far. But then I remembered that there are other bar countertops or cabinets that have the cabinet faces on this side rather than on the back side. That's how these are. You know, they've got, I know we can't really ever use them because the chairs are always there, but they've got cabinets on the side that the bar countertop hangs out over. These are like the same, but flip-flopped. And then of course we've got a sink too. I'm kind of toying with the idea of maybe doing some sort of a pass-through here as well. I don't really know how that would work since it's an interior wall and we can only put windows on exterior walls. And it's not like we could just remove this whole wall. I mean, we could do that, but then the cabinets on the backside are gonna fall. And I don't think we could replace them. So, you know what? It's fine the way that it is. But I do think we're gonna have to remove this pillar, because it's just kind of getting in the way of everything. We're gonna make our way upstairs and start tackling the next room, which is gonna be the home office. So super simple in here. We don't need anything crazy. I'm, like we've been doing in the other rooms, just gonna try to make sure that we're using furniture that matches. I wanted to try for more of like an executive type office. We usually make a gamer's paradise pretty much. But I was looking for something where you've got that big bookshelf behind the desk chair and like a big fancy gold trim painting hung up on the wall right smack dab in the center. I was really going for something that was, it was giving, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding kind of thing, kind of vibe, picking up what I'm putting down. I think we nailed it. Obviously, all the rooms still need quite a bit more decor, which we'll get to, but I'm just trying to get like the basic sort of vibe for everything figured out. So, with the home office now complete, we're gonna move on to the guest bedroom. So I'm thinking we'll do maybe like a dresser type thing over here. And then I don't want the headboard of the bed to be up against the window. So I'll probably put the headboard over on this wall. Because if we put it over here, then you're gonna have to like walk around, or at least one person staying in this room would have to walk around the bed just to get to the other side. I think it's a little bit easier if it's over here. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm almost certain that we've used this bed before, maybe not in this color configuration, but I know for a fact. What is that? Where's that sound coming from? It keeps throwing me off. I know for a fact we haven't used these nightstands or these lamps, trying to go for something more elegant, more Spanish Revival, Hacienda-esque, right? This bedroom's kind of giving guest room at grandma's, where it low-key kind of feels haunted, but like all the furniture's very nice at the same time. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. And I know we never really use these ever, so just to fill the empty space on this wall, I decided to slap down one of those. And this is sort of a callback to the sculpture down in the living room. This one has a candle in it, though, so it's a little bit different. And then we've got a big old heckin' wardrobe over there in the back wall. And a mirror, too. I think that's what's giving it creepy, borderline haunted room at grandma's. It's the mirror, because it faces the bed. Anyone else's grandma had a bedroom that had a mirror that faced the bed in it? And like a creepy old vanity where like the mirror glass is like all hazy and sort of faded, vintage looking. We're gonna move on then to the final room, I believe, in the entire house, and that is the master bedroom. So I'm gonna try to set it up sort of same to the guest bedroom, but maybe try to use some slightly different furniture pieces. I realized pretty darn quickly that the master bedroom was just way too big. So to help with that, I decided to add both a his and hers closet in this back corner. And the game does count it as a closet, even though there's only one simple wardrobe on that back wall. I wish I could have added more, and to be honest, I probably could have, but I wanted to make sure that I left enough space for myself for another one of these little vanity things. It definitely helped cut down on the total size of the room. We've still got plenty of space to walk through here, and there's a really uncomfortable looking couch back here pointed at a TV. But we've gone for a hanging bed this time around. Can't say that I've ever used one of those before. And again, slightly different nightstands than what I would usually choose. Now, I need to go through each and every room and all the exterior rooms as well. Make sure those are furnished, but more importantly, get lights and light switches in all the rooms. I think the bathrooms are more or less done, but like bedrooms don't have any lights other than the lamps and the little candle things. And I don't think I have any lights whatsoever, yeah, down here on the main floor. So we're gonna fix that and add as many additional decorations as I possibly can.
1 hour later.
Here's something that I wasn't at all expecting to see. Check out who's chilling at the top of the highest bidder list. That right there, ladies and gents, is none other than the family Johnson. Which is weird, because like when I'm trying to build a house specifically for them, it was really challenging to get them to the top of that list. But now that I'm just doing whatever the heck I want, suddenly they're all the way up there. It's a little odd. Now, before we head inside, I didn't go as hard on the decorations as I maybe promised that I would. I'm sure you're probably all used to me saying this by now. It's very hot, and I'm sweating like a stuck pig. So I'm ready to get out of here. I'll take my laptop inside and finish the edit of this one. But minimal decor. I think the end result is very, very nice nonetheless. I didn't end up doing anything else to the living room. I had thought though, like, what if we would have tried to extend the property just for that living room? I mean, we have the ability to do that with this place, but if you guys remember, when you do extend an existing room, let's say, the extension becomes its own room. So we would then have basically 2 living room spaces. I guess we could have utilized this room as the dining room then, and this room would have been the living room. But there's no going back now. I'm fully committed to this just being the final product. Bathrooms have seen no additional decor whatsoever either. The kitchen, I did at least try to sprinkle in a couple of things to make it seem more kitchen-y. You know, we've got our spices, we've got a big ol' heckin' espresso maker. I don't even know the first thing about these. Looking at this right now, I don't even know where I would start. If you're a barista, let me know down in the comments. I'm sure running one of those things is probably super easy for you. We've got some smaller, sort of decorative food things, you know, sugar, panko, sesame, breadcrumbs. I was always under the impression that panko and breadcrumbs were the same thing, but maybe that's not the case. We have our microwave up here on the countertop. Still waiting for Frozen District or Frozen Way, I guess, to add hanging microwaves, like under cabinet microwaves, you know what I'm saying? Every house that I've ever seen here in the States has had a microwave directly above. I shouldn't say every house, because our house is pretty old and it wasn't set up that way. But most of the time, the newer construction houses at least, will have a microwave above the stove, and that would then double as like the stove vent, right? Like the bottom side of the microwave would have venting, and that's how you would vent from your stovetop. Anyways, we've got a little doggy area over here in this corner, and pretty much the same thing over there in the other corner. This would probably be a really good place for us to move to, but at this point, I'm just ready for a serious payday. You know, as cool as this house is, it didn't turn out exactly how I had hoped. If it did, I would have probably moved in, straight up, and just sold our current home. The bar area turned out very, very nice. We've got a little mat here on the floor now, just in front of the sink. A wine rack thing. I totally forgot about this. This has existed for a very, very long time now. I think since the Dine Out DLC was added, but it's just a little, what do you call that? I'm assuming wine is maybe on tap here, but it could be beer. But we can pretend that underneath this cabinet is a kegerator. That's where we've got our keg stored for that thing. I can't remember the name of that, or I can't remember what that thing's called. But we've got a little basket of fries up here, because who doesn't love munching on a basket of fries while you're swimming? I know you're supposed to wait 30 minutes, but honestly, that's probably just an old wives' tale. We have a tequila bottle. I think that's tequila up there, and some other booze bottles, because this is a bar after all. The pool bathroom has seen no additional changes either. I did remember about halfway through all the additional like furnishing and stuff that I wanted to add windows here in the garage, and I almost didn't remember in time. But now we've got a little bit more natural light coming into the garage. It looks pretty dang good in there. Now, since we don't have a formal dining room area, could we have made one? Like I said before, yeah, probably, but too little too late, you know what I mean? So this is our formal dining room space. And since the family Johnson is thinking about purchasing it, we've got extra stools and extra tables just for them. I actually did add those as soon as I saw who was at the top of the dang leaderboard. We're gonna head up the spiral staircase now to the second floor and once again smack our head on the bottom of that staircase landing. Now up here, this is where I had started to do additional decor, specifically like paintings and things. So I was really just going for anything that was like bright colors. This is just a bunch of birds, I think, and then this must be moths. Maybe this, again, just bright colors, more bright colors, more bright colors. And then over here, I was feeling a little weird, I guess. I thought that this just kind of looked cool. They're like painting frames, but they don't actually have a painting or any sort of image in them. The like typical, like stereotypical Hacienda or Spanish Revival look, as far as like the walls go, you know, they're probably gonna be just white, and then there's like dark wood trim everywhere. But when you get into the details of it, it seems like there's usually a lot of bright colors, which is why I was going for bright colored posters or paintings, and then these obviously very bright as well. Moving into the office, I have no idea how this thing got here. Classic suspicious face moment. We've gone for an Apple computer, or I guess in-game they're called Maples. And then I was really just focused on adding as much additional like office decor as I could, just to make it feel a bit more like a proper office. So we've got a printer, spot for some papers, spot for binders, books, and things. Nothing crazy. The game considers this a home library, and that's likely because of all the bookshelves on that back wall there. I was going for home office, but you know what? We'll take library. Also, after I finished adding in all of the lights in all the rooms, I had to re-enable eco lighting because I was just trying to walk around and like pan left to right, and the frame rate was very, very bad. So if you're having similar issues in your own playthrough, I would recommend enabling the eco lighting mode. That just makes it so when you walk into a room, the lights turn on and they don't stay on like forever and ever and ever. You know, that uses a lot of your PC's resources. I don't think I did a dang thing in here or in the attached guest room bathroom. And I don't think I did anything in the master bedroom either. But I did make sure to add some sun loungers out here, 2 coffee tables, a nice little umbrella over there with a lounge, I guess you would call that. And then we've got a hammock as well. But that, ladies and gents, is it. We have finally finished Hacienda Day Toogii. And we're going to try to submit it for the garden competition, or to the garden competition. Maybe just under the American category. I don't expect this to go particularly well. 89. All right, house value increased by 20%. Not too shabby. All things considered, I wasn't even really thinking about participating in that, but that works. And now we're going to put it up for auction. We already know who's gonna pick it up, but how much are they gonna pay us for it? We bought the house for $339,000. Smoth family, Dolan Trusk, and the family Johnson picking it up for 466,000 schmackaroonies, which means we're profiting $265,000. And I'm not going to negotiate with them. I think that's a totally fair price. But how weird of the family Johnson to purchase this, because there's only 2 bedrooms. We didn't put any children's toys in any of the bedrooms like they ask for. So it's very odd. Very, very odd. Let's go ahead and accept it, and we can take a look at these before and after photos. A lot of the time with these photos too, the camera's just set up in a corner of the room, and after we change like the layout of the house, sometimes the camera angle isn't really any good. Okay, that one looks quite a bit better. These almost look blurry. They don't usually look this blurry, I don't think. Bigger pool. Dude, it did the weird thing where it like put almost transparent flooring over top of the pool again. I don't know why it does that. And of course, now that we're back at home, that is where we're gonna have to wind things down at for today. If you have any sort of recommendations as to what architectural style or home style I should try to flip next, let me know down in the comments. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.